There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Nan Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
All right, you guys ready?
Let's do the
I
thing.
know we're all excited to talk a movie. Let's talk about Venom.
No.
Let There Be Carnage.
No.
Venom:
that's
The
the bad
Last
one.
Dance.
Last Dance is the new one, right? Let There Be Carnage was the bad one, right? Wasn't that part two?
Well, I mean, until you watch Let There Be The Last Dance, yeah, sure, it's the worst.
Well, I haven't seen part three. I didn't really care for part one or two very much.
I enjoyed them for what they were, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna ever
Trev.
acknowledge they were good. What?
Exactly.
Get
There you go.
out!
I thought they were. That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Like, I
right.
appreciated some of the goofy shit between Venom and Eddie,
Yeah.
but
That part
yeah.
was. The
Yeah.
story was just.
Well, and the big boss fight was literally
CGI.
okay. You know, the first one was goo. Okay, fine, whatever. But it's like the second one turned into the same thing. It's like, okay, guys, really?
The first
Really?
one, I didn't even know what was happening. It was just a bunch of fucking CGI shit on the screen.
You know,
Just wait
honestly,
till
it
you get
looked
to-
like two guys jacked off, and they were, you know, their sperm was going at it, or their cum was going.
Just wait
at
till
it.
you get to the third one where there's no plot and the points don't matter. Just like this episode of the Twilight Zone called the Fifth Dimension of Twilight Zone podcast, where an episode tries to make points but just doesn't matter in the long run. We're back after 8 weeks of being
Yay.
off because I had a mental breakdown and Triv forgot her pants.
What?
And Jacobs is
What?
wearing a Chucky shirt.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy
yeah.
Halloween!
Yeah, happy
Is it-
whatever.
It's
It's,
probably premiering
it's a
around
day
Halloween.
in the middle of the time before harvest and go eat a chocolate candy bar. I don't know. I just work here, people.
Hooray!
I just work here. No,
But
we're
none
back.
of us are wearing black leather jackets. What does that say?
And that says we're.
You get it? Oh, I should have wore that. It wasn't
I
there,
mean,
so.
I can imagine a good scenario where we have black leather jackets and we're cool like the Pawns instead of like three people who need a freezer. Apparently.
Yay.
Yeah. So,
I love
guys.
the fact that they came from outer space and they had like all the technology, but they still had to have movers to get their shit into the house.
And apparently, the only technology they have is an eyeball. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going on in this crazy world of black leather jackets?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I watched this last week.
I know, but somebody by the name of Movie Emporium had to have a mental breakdown and freak
You're
the fuck
fine.
out. And
Don't worry.
yeah.
Alex
Forget about
also
it.
said. Alex also said that she can't be here tonight because she went on a date with a guy that was wearing a black leather jacket and she got abducted by aliens.
So a typical Tuesday for Alex. Yeah.
It's Thursday.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so.
It's the day before Call of Duty comes out. Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
good lord.
All right, guys, welcome back. How's the hell is everyone doing? Everybody's in a different place than they were like what it was 3 weeks ago.
I
Was
am
it 3 weeks
apparently
since we
still
recorded?
pantsless. So
Yeah, Triv's still pantless. She
Got
porky
any
pigs it.
pants?
who needs
She
pants?
she just wears a black leather jacket when the Winnie the Pooh's it. She's like, "Hail Satan!" Oh my god.
Hail Satan.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that GIF or GIF or whatever, where it's just you know how Winnie the Pooh would do like the stretches, so he'd like stretch down and up and down with his hands. Well, in the mirror that he would stretch to, there's a picture of Satan that somebody put in there, so he's like he's praying to Satan or hailing Satan.
Are you sure this wasn't just you had a beer and you
No,
got like, you
I'm
had-
not
you-
drunk. I promise
I
you.
know you're not drunk.
I've
but
only
I'm just
taken
saying.
some meds.
Yay!
Just some.
Yeah, I only have to get blood work in the morning. It's good times had by all on my birthday. So there you go.
Oof.
Anyways, yeah,
Early.
Yeah. I'm gonna the ripe old age of 22 today.
You don't
Or
look a
as
date
is
over
recorded.
12.
My wife turned
Exactly.
27 yesterday.
Yay!
I mean, that's what she tells everybody, but
No, she's 26.99,
or 34. I mean, you know.
33.99.
I like how like your wife's not on the podcast. You're just giving her age off. It's like, man,
I mean, I'm 44, about to be 45. So I mean, she's still the younger one.
you're a 45-year-old man wearing a Chucky shirt selling "We Use the People." Good Lord, man.
Trying
Get a
to
life,
sell
you
weed.
nerd. Nerd. No, I'm kidding.
And
At least you have a job you enjoy. Like
I do
me.
enjoy my job. I'm not going to
No, you
enjoy something I
should.
got to do tomorrow or the next day, but I do enjoy my job.
Well, I mean, you have to do a Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I mean, what do you expect?
Well, there you go.
Actually, maybe not. Yeah, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Anyways, so black leather jackets, guys, we're here. We're finally here. We've been talking about this episode
I think
for
that those
God knows how long.
jackets are pleather, not leather.
I don't know what they are, but they sure are stinky and smell like garbage.
Well,
and
considering they
freezers.
never change them in the entire freaking time that they're there, I mean, they don't have
They
pajamas.
don't take showers.
Apparently not.
In the time that we've done this podcast, we've had 2 terrible Earl Hamner Jr. episodes, or 3. Or we had 3 terrible Earl Hamner Jr. episodes, or we had 2.
You know, Robert Rodriguez said you needed to start early on writing and directing so you could get all your bad ones out of the way first.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's not wrong. I mean, Earl Hamner Jr. did create the Waltons, so he got it out of the way.
He also did The Hunt.
He said every director and writer has bad stories in them. Go ahead and get them out of the way.
That's why Rod Serling gave all these episodes to everyone else, so he knew they sucked.
There's certainly a thing.
Exactly. Okay, so black leather jackets. We've been talking about this episode as long as the podcast has been going on, or at least a lot after Jezebel came out. We finally started talking about this episode. It's a season 5, episode 18, directed by Joseph F. Newman, written by Earl Hamner Jr. Stars Lee Kinsolving. It came out January 31st, 1964. Production code 2628. Stars Lee Kinsolving, Michael Forrest, Tim Gilleran, Michael Conrad. Michael Conrad sounds familiar. Yeah. Black Leather Jackets is notorious in the Twilight Zone for being one of the worst episodes ever created. I have things and thoughts and ideas that about this episode, but I don't know. Going into this episode, Jacob, as someone who didn't think Jezebel was that bad and thought we were crazy, going into these types of episodes talking about how bad they are, or season 4, all that kind of crazy nonsense. Did you come out of this episode indifferent? Did you come out of this episode enjoying it? I got to know from you personally what you thought of this episode, because I've been wondering for the 6 weeks we've been waiting to talk about this episode now.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
But before we do that, let's talk about Geritol. No, I like. No, he's
Popeye's
like
chicken.
Right?
Popeye's chicken.
Oh,
is the
Jesus.
shit, man.
Oh, what was that? What was I watching that? Oh, Red Letter Media did the Popeye's
That's
chicken.
why I
Oh, my
bring it
God.
up.
There's
Yes.
a Popeye's chicken in my town.
Yay, mine too.
There is a
They
mine as
never
well.
have anything you want. Whatever you want, when you go there and you order it, they're out. They'll have everything you don't want. They never have what you want.
That's funny.
Then you
Oh
use
my God.
reverse psychology.
Well, yeah, black leather jackets. I've heard a lot about this episode. I do not remember anything about it, but I'd heard about it. You guys have been proclaiming it to be
Nick
the
has been.
next,
I'd never said anything.
the next.
Just
Jezebel.
put on your pants and be a strong woman and admit
No.
to your defeats.
No.
It's
I'm sorry,
the
Jacob,
next
what were you saying?
Jezebel, according to you guys. And so yeah, I went into it with fairly low expectations. Fairly low.
Drum roll.
It wasn't like a great episode. It wasn't great, but I didn't hate it.
Well, let me
if
ask
we
you.
ever
Okay,
create t-shirts, that would be the t-shirt for Jake.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I should have.
I mean,
Damn it,
I
Jacob! I
was
should have
really
put that on the
expecting
brick.
it to
I didn't
be
hate
much
it.
worse. I was expecting it to be much worse than it was. It's
Jacob,
fairly uneventful, admittedly.
I gotta ask you this:
I didn't think it was terrible.
Did you come out of it indifferent? Would that be a word that you would say about the episode?
Yeah, more or less, yeah, indifferent.
Okay.
I think that it could have been. I didn't dislike the story so much or what they were trying to tell. I just think that I get what they're trying to do, but I wish they had given a little bit more in the end. And I don't necessarily even mean what is supposed to happen. Can you guys hear my air conditioning?
No.
No.
Okay. It sounds really loud. But anyway, the thing that happens, or the thing that, we find out is going to happen, I didn't necessarily need to see that happen, but admittedly in the end, I get the feeling they were trying to leave us with, and they kind of did, but I think that maybe they could, it felt like it was missing a little something, like that last little push over the edge. I feel like it pushed me over the edge, but I was still holding on. Like Indiana Jones style. They just needed to stomp on the fingers to get you to fall, and it just wasn't quite there.
So it was edging you, but not edging you hard enough.
Yeah, definitely didn't edge hard enough there. They didn't restrict the pipe all the way. Yeah, I didn't hate it. I mean, it was I hesitate to
Here,
say
here's
fine. It was what it was. I mean, I was just kind of like, yep, that
yeah.
happened.
Here's how I come down to it. I was so indifferent watching this episode that I literally could not be angry at it because it just is a nothing burger, as Triv alluded to. It really is just nothing. It's just three bikes or three motorcyclists drive into a town, order a freezer, have some stuff, which includes an eyeball as an alien overlord, and then a guy falls in love with woman, doesn't understand what she is as a woman, and then they poison the water hole. It's like the setup for a Toy
Well,
Story movie or something like that. I mean, I didn't know
I
what the it
felt
just
like it was
isn't anything.
it was either taking inspiration from or it gave inspiration to. I'm pretty sure it took it from because that would have been 56. The what's the world? The they remade it
Oh,
with Keanu Reeves.
yeah, the day after not the day after
No.
tomorrow.
No, that
It
was
was
at least that
Gort.
was a good movie.
It was Gort.
What? No,
Day the
not
Earth Stood Still.
yeah, the
Yeah,
day the
yeah,
Earth
yeah,
stood
yeah,
still. It
yeah.
was very much. I feel like that's what they were going for. Was we're beneath them, and we're just this warring race of just like savages. So they're gonna more or less put us out of our misery because we don't deserve to be here. So they're gonna take our stuff. And then you have one guy who discovers, oh no, they're not so bad. They have, the ability, the capacity to love and care and yada yada yada. Yes, they do some bad things, but they also do a lot of good things. Tries to convince them unsuccessfully so. So it reminded me a lot to that aspect of the day the earth stood still, but I don't feel like they translated that or communicated that to us the viewer. I think they did. It was kind of like, okay, you got an idea, you got a thing, you want to talk about that, but you didn't really do anything. And I think I agree where you say like the nothing burger. It is kind of like nothing. It's like, hey, here's this idea, here's this thing. Okay, cool. And you don't really do anything with it.
Yeah, that's
It
this
just
thing's biggest sin is that.
yeah, and I mean, nobody was. I mean, yeah, it was kind of goofy when we look at it with the guys in leather jacket, but that they're beatniks. That's just how it was back then. I'm not holding that against it. Nobody was like particularly terrible in it or anything. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, this is a tour de force in acting, but it wasn't bad. It was just what it was. It's very on brand for Twilight Zone. The story was well, the setup for the story, I guess, was fine. There's just no payoff, and not just that. There was no like to the whole thing. There was no point. There was no reason. And I feel like that's where the end kind of dropped the ball because in the end there should have been a little bit more, and there just wasn't.
Well, this is at a time when like Happy Days was starting to become a thing. I guess no, maybe Happy Days was in the 70s or was this the 60s? But this was a time like you started seeing like Rebel Without a Cause and all this stuff. And I think they felt like, oh, we could just make aliens and cool biker outfits. And I think in the end, I just didn't feel like at least Jezebel made me kind of feel something. I just didn't feel anything. I think I would rather watch, I don't know, paint dry, maybe.
Oh,
Triv?
fine, it wasn't that bad.
No, it was
It was-
boring as shit, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, okay, this felt like one of those things where you're in a writer's room and you go, "Hey, this would be we've got this, I guess for lack of a better term at the time, epidemic of, motorcyclists that, are moving into neighborhoods and they're, disrupting normal life, whether it be, sound of the motorcycles or whatever. Cultural phenomenon of this thing, and it's you can look at any of a dozen B movies from the late 50s and early 60s that kind of covers the same thing, that bikes or motorcycle gang or whatever. So they're trying to do the whole like play on that, but it's such a if they wanted to sneak into a neighborhood, I just there's nothing works together. It's like they got a whole bunch of puzzle pieces that were random. They're like, okay, we've got bikers, we've got aliens from another planet that are gonna, take out humanity. We've got this, this love story. Nothing works together. It's just such a nothing burger. I know I said that, but that's really like that there was this piece like, oh, let's have these guys come and do this thing and it'll, be this, Romeo and Juliet level story. And it just doesn't do anything.
I
There's
think the
nothing.
idea
I get the
behind
story. I 100% understand.
well, no, I mean, I'm saying I think the idea of them being this biker gang or whatever they were, I think was maybe them like saying, "Hey, we want to stay low key, or we want people to leave us alone." And we see that with these types in these types of neighborhoods, people don't approach them. People might not like them, but they're going to leave them alone. My question concerning that chameleon factor of them is, I get the sheriff or whatever it was, the police guy being
The deputy.
Yeah, being an alien, a plant or whatever. I get, you know, if it was like some person in political power, somebody who worked at the water plant. I get all that. Why did these guys have to be planted? As what purpose was there to get them installed as this biker gang in this neighborhood?
That's the question of the day.
Yeah.
That's the question because they're supposed to be like, oh, these cool guys that are in this town to disrupt the status quo. And then one of the guys decides, oh, she's kind of attractive. Oh, I don't understand women, but I'm gonna go. It's just like,
Yeah, I
okay,
don't. Why were they there?
the deputy's already doing what they're set there to do. It's like,
And I even get that they
uh,
were there to, like, you know, physically put the stuff in the water supply and all that. That's fine. But why did they choose? Why not just be Ozzy and Harriet? Why not just be normal people? Be these
because it was the
lackluster neighbors?
'60s. I mean, it was a cool thing to look like that. I
But
mean,
even that
that's the
doesn't
only thing.
necessarily make sense in that respect. Like you would
I'm
want to
not
be low
saying,
key.
yeah.
Because, if you're going into a neighborhood at that place and time, I understand that, like, you want to look badass so people leave you alone, but I don't think people would leave you alone.
Yeah, it's going to
Like,
call attention to you at the same time.
right, exactly.
People
Like,
might not
even
like directly come at you, but you're going to call attention for the entire neighborhood. They're still going to have
yeah.
eyes on you all the time. It feels kind of counterintuitive.
Like
That
even
yeah,
even
that's
looking at
yeah.
the their communication devices, that whole bit there, like if your neighbor's electricity is going in and out like that, you know full well, like, and they made obviously a big deal about the ham radio thing, but it's just like you cause someone's electricity to come out and you're the newest people in the neighborhood and you've got that big of an antenna, people are gonna come like say, hey, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on, you know?
Yeah,
You
Daddy-o.
think? Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm gonna kind of like push this over into our opening narration. Do you think Rod Serling, when he looked at the opening narration as he was sitting there smoking a cigarette before they started talking, he's just
Hold on.
like I mean I don't know if Rod Serling was just at a point where he's just like, I don't know, okay, what do you got for me, Earl Hamner Jr.? He's like, well, I got motorcyclists on. Oh, okay, fine, fine. And then he reads, he's like, Earl Hamner Jr., you're going to do the last episode of the series and you better make it good. And then he just realizes he shot himself in the foot. I mean, I don't know. I question what's happening with this
Well,
series.
also, I got to say, we're putting a lot of this on Earl Hamner Jr., and it may be all his story. We don't know, like,
He
what.
wrote this, like, there is a writer's room, but he is responsible for crafting this story. And
Yeah, but what about execution? Execution has something to do with it, I think. We don't
That is
know
true.
what the original screenplay was. I mean, it may have been this exactly,
uh,
but we don't know if maybe they changed some things. The studio came in and said, "Oh, you need to do this or that or whatever." We don't know if it was just him. It may have been. I mean, like I said, nobody's perfect. All writers are going to write some shit.
well, but like, why is Earl Hamner Jr. being given this and the Bewitching Pool and
Maybe
Jezebel?
they said he was such a great writer that they gave him the shittiest thing, so maybe he can make him better.
Well, no, they
And he
saw
failed.
his script for the Waltons. They're like, we need to get this guy down on off of cloud nine. We need to do some shit. And they gave him the
Well,
shittiest episodes.
I think he was like 10 years away from the Waltons, but still, whatever.
I don't know. I mean, it's called the Daltons or something like that. But I don't know. Let's just get into the opening narration before we really dive deep that we're trying to not do with this episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's me.
Do you remember?
Oh,
Do you
real
remember how to
quick,
do
real
that?
quick,
I know it's been a while.
guys, real quick. So I'm looking at the book, the Twilight Zone Companion, and it has like a page and a like generously a half on this. And the first, like, the whole page and the end or the upper part of the second page is all like talking about the story and the narration and shit. There's 1.5 paragraphs about the basic shit, and it literally says nothing.
Because the
Yeah.
episode is a nothing burger.
I don't have a pop over here. Totally listening to you, Trip.
Jesus. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. But I one other thing I would One other thing I would mention is the fact that we don't get to the opening narration until 4 minutes in. So we literally see
Ooh.
these guys like drive into town, go to the rental office, walk out of the rental office, pick, the
Sorry. I'll
pick the
stop
sign
grabbing
out of the
things.
front yard, toss it on the ground, and go in. The dad and the daughter come out and do their thing.
Yeah, it's
Well, then they pick up the sign and they just like fuck the sign. They throw it on the ground and walk in. It's
fuck your
like
soul. It's
I like how
bitch.
I like how the guys who move them in are like, "Is this it?" And then, like if that would happen today, you're like, "Are you shooting a porno? Like what's going on here? Can I be part of it?" Back in the day, they're just like, "Yeah, we're cool. We're too cool for a sofa
Too
with
cool for furniture, Daddy-O.
we're
be a
too cool for a
square."
love seat."
We got a freezer
Yeah.
and a TV. That's all we need.
Well, that's kind of the perfect
Cool cat.
encapsulation of bachelor life, isn't it?
Actually, it is actually.
Just needed a
And a
beanbag
lava
and
lamp.
a mattress on the floor.
Yeah, lava lamp. Oh my god! All right, Jacob, let's do the opening narration.
Oh yeah,
Get
sure.
this out of the fucking way.
3 men in black leather jackets in an empty rented house. We'll call them Steve and Scott and Fred. That's too many ands, but that's how it's written. But their names are not important, even though I just said them. Their mission is, as 3 men on motorcycles lead us into the Twilight Zone.
Wow, that said literally nothing. I am no
Hey guys,
What?
you know what this reminds me of? You remember
What's
Rise
that?
of Skywalker? You remember the
Yes.
opening crawl of Rise of Skywalker? You think
No.
it was written by the same person?
No, probably not.
The black leather jackets speak.
The black
Emperor
leather
Palpatine
jackets
search
speak?
or you ever seen the opening crawl for Rise of Skywalker?
I don't remember
It's
it.
literally the most nonsensical thing ever written.
Palpatine is alive.
Yeah. Kylo Ren
But
looks for
Do we
Palpatine
get? But
with
do
the
we
black
get the
leather
name of
jackets.
individual stormtroopers as Steve, Scott,
Steve, Scott, and Fred are
Fred.
alive.
Hey, you know what would have been better for this episode?
What's that?
If one was called Steve, the other was called Dave, and they just go going, "That's right, Steve, Dave, and Fred."
It would have been better if he was like, we'll call them Steve, and his other brother Steve.
What was the old joke
Darren.
that this is Darren, or this is my brother
Daryl
Darren
from
and my other
Newhart. It's
brother.
like,
Yeah, the other
Hi,
brother.
my name's
other-
Daryl.
Yeah.
This is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl.
Hey Jim Bob. Hey Bob. Hey Bob Jim.
Just call them Sven,
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 Jim.
and Sven.
Oh no, you remember the
That was Stimpy's
the Goodfellas
cousin.
joke where everyone was named like Bob Jr. and Junior Bob and
Oh,
Who's
there
like
was
during the wedding scene?
there was My Big Fat Greek Wedding had Nick, 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 and
And
Nick,
and Nick. And then Nick Sr.
and yeah, and Scott.
And Scott and Frank. Okay, so that was nonsensical opening narration. I don't even know if they were cognizant of what they were writing when they wrote that opening narration because as Triv alluded to, it literally says nothing. It's like, here's 3 guys we'll call Steve, Scott, and Fred, but that's not really that important because they're here on motorcycles to lead you into the Twilight Zone. It's like,
That's
what
right,
the fuck does that
Daddy-O.
even mean? What does that
Chemical
mean? It's just words on a
Let's
piece of
talk about
paper that.
Steve and Scott and Fred, but their names aren't important.
That's right.
But they are on a
Half
mission.
The opening narration.
Mission
is
from
missing
God.
one.
Yeah, they have
God.
a half pack cigarettes. They're wearing sunglasses. Their names are Steve, Scott, and Fred, but they're on a mission. But that's not important.
That's right.
It's just like Jesus Christ. So yeah. Okay, so we have 3 guys that come in on a motorcycle. They upend the town. They buy a freezer. One falls in love with the woman. The father is, I guess, what's wrong with the father? He's just kind of there, and then they poison the water hole. Is that kind of how the story runs? Is that the story?
Well, he's exceptionally pissed off about the fact that they may be ham radio operators without a license. Oh God, we've lost Jake. Oh shit. I think he's trying to distract us from how bad this episode is. Because the more we discuss it, the worse it gets.
There's another character I'm trying to get in.
You have it right in the back of your backdrop. What are you doing, Jacob?
My back job.
Your back, your backdrop, your fucking Juan or whatever his name is.
Jeff.
Jeff is literally the Jesus Christ.
What did you say, traitor?
You're blinking too much.
There's air blowing in my eye. That's why.
And your eyeball's not moving around. It has to be moving like every other second, just moving around.
Oh my god, I'm still big.
That's what she said. I mean, there are ways to take care of that, but it's going to take a few minutes. This pause brought to you by BetterHelp.
This pause brought to you by
For him.
what was that game with what's her face?
Oh, what's it called? The Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah,
There
right.
you go.
Well, there was
And
the one with like
Raycon.
really. Well, there was like the one with the really hot woman. What was her name? The
They all have
what the? It was like a war game, like a I don't know.
There's also the AI girlfriend app thing.
Yeah, they're like where she ages or whatever. Like Facebook is like nothing but ads for AI. Jesus. Well, you know the answer. You know how you stop these people. You just like I don't know, mental project them to the wall or something.
Yeah, that was weird too.
Was he
It's
like was he like glued to the wall?
It kinda. See, that was the thing though. Like they show off the telekinesis powers, and it's like, ooh, I'm pulling the shades. Ooh, I'm locking or opening the door. Ooh, I'm temporarily, hypnotizing this poor schmuck of a guy that's coming over to ask if I've got a ham radio.
If they're
Yeah.
all capable of that, then why in the hell do they need to like
Exactly.
come in from the inside and like steal do whatever it is they're doing?
Like
Poison the
if
water.
if they were gonna poison the water, I feel like they could have poisoned the water without all the hullabaloo.
Or just
They do a lot of
Send us
things they
off the
didn't
wall.
need to do in this episode. Do we
I
really need the
know.
sheriff in this episode as a invader from I don't know planet Uranus? Like
Boontank?
planet Anus. I mean, I don't know. Like, do we need? Is anything in this episode need to happen? Like, legit need to
Well,
happen? There's
something
nothing.
does need to happen. That way, there's an episode.
But nothing happens. Like it's just like eyeball. Jacob can stay the way he is right now, and that's more interesting than what fucking happened in this episode.
I'm not gonna.
That's the
disagree with you on
problem.
that.
Like I'm not even criticizing Jacob for having two eyes right now. They're blinking and it's freaking me out. It's the fucking idea that there's nothing that happens. They rent a fucking house. I don't know, poison the town. Like, aren't they?
Well, they're poisoning the world though. Like they've got.
But
people
so
all
they
over
go
the
to
world.
one town. Why don't they go fucking
No,
Washington
they
DC
were
or
they
something?
were everywhere. They were literally everywhere, and they were all gonna release the poisony
The-
shit at the same time.
Okay, maybe I was watching cats like speak to me or something like that. I don't remember that happening because
Yeah,
I was so
they
fucking
mention
bored.
it. Well, the thing is, it was all
Oh.
exposition from the giant ass eyeball.
Oh,
Yes, I mean a giant.
maybe I thought
ass
I
eyeball.
imagined that.
No, that's all good. The other thing that got me was with the deputy, and I know we'll get to. Well, not that there's a lot to get to, but like the
Jacob, you're
deputy
legitimately
is
freaking me out right now.
is part of the whole plan. It's like, why would you not leave that as a thing until the end when they actually like
Because
come to abduct Scott? That's just so
nothing
stupid.
matters, Triv. Nothing
And this,
matters
no,
in this
I understand
episode.
that, but it's just such a. It's like, why would you? It's not like it was the midway break point of the episode. It was literally like that. There was no reason to have that happen. You could have had him walk in and go, "Ha ha! Your ass is grass, you bastard! I'm taking your
I
ass."
hate you so much right now, Jacob.
slams."
I hate you so much.
I'm doing
I'm gonna give you some Visine. Dry eyes.
More than that, you're gonna get Ben Steined.
dry eyes.
I don't want to get Ben Stein. He freaks me out. Oh man.
I'm doing a thing.
I'm aware of that. I hear the noises. I don't want to know why, but I know you're playing I don't know, Warhawk or something.
Warhol.
I don't know. You had your PS3 earlier, so I figured you're playing Warhawk or something.
That was a backwards compatible PS3 I got from work.
I think
Right?
worth some money. I don't know. Like when he becomes interested in that woman, like they're like, "Oh, we can't trust him anymore because he likes women." It's like, wow, he likes a woman. Oh my god, call the military, call somebody. Just then they like, I don't know, magnetize him to a wall or something. And he's just like, ah, ah,
They
ah.
telekinesis him to a wall.
They do something.
Hi.
Yeah, I can't. I can't.
They telekinesis him.
I just can't.
him to the wall.
You know what that reminds me of? Kung
Welcome
Pao
to
Enter the Fist.
dimension.
That's great. Oh my god. Holy shit. You can do the rest of the episode like that, because if you are, we should probably move on.
I don't know if I can. It's freaking me the fuck out.
Keep it together.
Oh shit, I just pissed my pants.
Let's be professionals.
Yeah.
The whole time I was doing that, I would like do my eyes real big. 'Cause I'm not sure the difference.
Oh god. Okay, Nick, we're back.
Is that to let you get that out of your system?
I'll be better.
As you're doing that, I was falling asleep, so it's all good.
I'll be better prepared with a much better version next week.
I hope we make it the next week. I may end up falling asleep through the night. Oh my god. Anyways, where were we? Jacob was having an orgasm trip, so we'll try and figure out where her pants are.
Yep.
It sounded like I was having an orgasm. Sounded like,
I don't know what you were doing on that. I was like, I'm just sitting here going, all right.
I mean, I don't know that is there a lot more to talk about with this? I mean, we've kind of covered all
I
of
don't know. I mean, you guys seem to like the episode more than I did, so
I didn't.
hey, that's the liked it more than you did does not necessarily mean that I liked it.
JF,
it's a proven fact
that you want to be like the Black Leather Jackets. You want to be their eyeball, and you want to, date the sheriff's daughter or whatever his name's daughter, and poison the water hole, and I don't know. Maybe you'll turn into Prospector Pete.
Poison
Or
her
Sticky
water
Pete.
hole, right?
Good lord.
I
man.
mean, I don't know. Is there really anything like most of it's just they are talking to their commander. One finds love. They don't like that. They're planning to poison the water. Well, I mean, there's some argument between the father who doesn't like the Black Leather Jackets guy. It just like there's really nothing to talk about. It's really strange. Like usually we can find stuff to bitch about, but there's nothing to really.
Oh,
bitch
I think
about
there's a lot
nothing.
to bitch about. I mean,
But there's really not. Like if we break this episode down, there's really nothing to talk about when it comes to bitching about this horrible, this terrible episode. It's there. It's nothing. It has three guys who invade Earth and then find out they have another invader that's there.
So,
And
Triv,
I mean,
this
you
is
guys
for you specifically.
What's up?
Triv,
yes.
do you think, just yes or no?
Yeah.
Is this worse than Jezebel?
Yes.
From the perspective, and I apologize, this is not yes or no. From the perspective of like, it's a nothing burger of an episode.
Yeah.
Jezebel like actively pissed me off in a lot of ways upon my earlier views. So from that perspective, it's not. But from the perspective of like what goes on, it left me with some emotion. Like I'm in the same boat as Nick. I've watched this over the course of time. You watch, it's marathons and all that shit. Every single time I walked away with not feeling anything. Like I was hoping maybe with time and you look at it with a critical eye, there would have been something. But truly, like I walked away and it's like I really there's not a lot of episodes where I walk away feeling like, oh, that was kind of a nothing burger. And I did with this. And I have never had that, like, I'll go, it was an okay episode, but it was like static with this.
Guys, I
It's
got
better
more
than
of the
actually
trouble with
pissing you off.
Templeton than I did this episode.
Oh my God.
No.
Jacob, I'm sorry, but like
me.
the Trouble with Templeton at least attempted to have a story. There's no story here. There's just three guys that pop up and decide to poison one town's water.
They weren't successful, super successful.
But how
really
can you
think
say
the
that?
end- there's the problem. Okay, so what they were going for, in my opinion, in all seriousness, is they were, like I said, they were going for the whole similarity to the day the Earth stood still. But the difference in that is they almost, he almost destroyed the world, but then at the last minute or whatever decided, okay, yeah, maybe there is something worth saving here. And while I see that you guys do start wars and bicker over petty stuff, no one's perfect. And we understand that no one's perfect, and this is just a part of your growth as a civilization. There is good in you. You make beautiful things, you make art, blah, 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 blah. So you are worth keeping around, but hey, get your shit together. And he lets us go. This one, it was kind of like that, but they didn't let us go. He was unable to convince his overlords that, or we were unable to convince them or whatever, that we're worth keeping around. And I'm okay with that kind of depressing ending like that, hey, the end starts tomorrow. We just don't see it. I'm cool with that, but they just didn't execute it very well. Like it needed a little bit more oomph if they were going to have that type of ending. And given where we are, I would have rather they just gone the cliche way of there at the end, he was able to convince them that we are worth letting live, that we're not just, mindless, violent apes.
I mean, I'll be
I think
honest with
that's the
you.
worst thing about it.
I'll be honest with you. If they had a dance sequence between the black leather jackets and I don't know the townsfolk, I think I would put this at like number 5 on my list of top 10 Twilight Zone. It's just like I don't know. I think they thought they saw like James Dean in this type of episode, and just kind of thought that it was going to be cool to have 3 guys that have no personality or no intrigue whatsoever than being 3 guys that buy a freezer and
I
have a
truthfully think
talk to an eyeball.
I think that they were trying to say something. I think they were
What
trying.
were they trying to say? Tell
I
me.
think they were going along the route of the, we're a destructive race, but we still have as many bad things as there are about us and that we do and the atrocities that we commit. There's still like really great things that we do. You only don't just see the negative, see the positive.
So so
But
he so
on the flip
he
side of that,
falls in love with one
they didn't
woman
see
and
that.
they see
Well,
like that.
no,
That's me like falling in love with a
I
cat
mean,
or loving a cat and just like going, oh, the humanity is saved. Like that doesn't sell anything. It's just like, yeah. Thank you, thank you,
I mean,
eyeball.
they had a
Thank you, my
limited
eyeball.
amount of time to do it, and
Okay,
I
on
think
that
that
point,
But
I
that,
understand where you're going, but on that point, the amount of exposition and time that they spent with their overlord having an exposition dump,
oh, absolutely bad
why,
execution.
like that's terrible execution. So
Yeah,
while I agree with you that the 24-minute thing does play in, it was so poorly used in this respect. They spent 4 minutes establishing something that you could have established in 30 seconds. It was like
yeah.
they had 2 or 3 like pages of story and they stretched it out to a full 24 minutes.
oh, absolutely.
Like
I agree with it.
and if they're talking and I apologize, I will let you get back to it. But if they're going to talk about the evils of humanity, and I understand that as a race you don't need to look far to see it outside. Like you don't. It's like, but we don't need to see Batman's parents killed in every time, in every version of the movie to understand that his parents are dead.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you need to for them. I think you needed to show something,
Oh, I
assholes
agree.
on the street or something to just back up that point of, well, we're gonna kill all of humanity because they suck or
I
whatever.
agree. I think that it was not good execution. I'm not arguing really,
Oh
period,
no,
but much
I
less for
understand.
this to be high on the list. I just don't necessarily think it is like the worst episode that I've viewed. I mean, like you made a perfect point earlier, and that's how I felt. This is very much just kind of a waste of time. It's a nothing burger. It's like, yeah, sure, they had you. I see the idea they had, but they don't execute it worth a shit, and it's just a waste of time. But on the flip side of that, the one good thing it does is while all bad episodes are wasting my time, this one doesn't waste my time and piss me off. It doesn't like come up and do some dumbass shit that just makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It it makes sense.
Yeah,
It's just
but
boring. There's just nothing to it. Like Trouble with Templeton, and it's like we're already arguing where it's gonna go. But I mean, just like that one in
well,
particular, just actively irritated the shit out of me because it made no sense on any level. So at least this one made sense. It just wasn't. I didn't
But
give a shit
the
until
problem
then.
is like I understand like what you're saying, but boredom and nothing still actively pisses me off because it's like you're wasting my time by giving me nothing. Like I literally could sit and watch, I don't know, the news where they're talking about, people dying every 5 seconds. You're only giving me like people dying every 5 seconds. It's like, give me something interesting. It's like it's the same thing here. It's like it's just not giving me anything. It's so ridiculous how this episode feels like, oh, we're trying to tell a story about how humanity's bad, but the one person is going to change your mind. It's like it feels like they jump to conclusions so dramatically and easily that it becomes just
I think
boring.
I think the
Like
idea.
that's just as bad as just like being bad.
Now, this does not in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I'm going to say exonerate the episode whatsoever because bad execution is bad execution. But I think
Mm.
I'd like to say what they were going for was like this guy is a soldier. He's just he knows what he's been told. He's been told stupid race of ants, pretty much. Just beasts. They don't deserve. Who cares if they get wiped out? They're cattle, pretty much. And when he got down there, he actually sees no. There's more to this. Well, you've opened my eyes. Now I'm going to try and communicate that to my overlords and open their eyes. And I think that's why it's the one guy trying to save them all. He realized that because he's always been told his whole life, and as a soldier, he's been told that, no, these they're not even people. They probably don't even refer to us as people or whatever their word for that is. They just we're stupid animals. Just like when you have
Mm.
people go and like wipe out stupid animals here on this planet. I mean, it's
Right.
like, there's not really, I mean, yeah, you have some people that are like make a big deal about it, but as a whole, the majority of people just don't give a shit. And that's how they were. They didn't really look at us as not human beings, but sentient beings worth any type of compassion. And I think
Yeah.
he saw that and he was trying to. But once again, that was not communicated whatsoever. I could be pulling that straight up out of my anus.
I would
I mean, you
also
did say you
add
saw it like a week ago, so
I would also add, they have the whole relationship between the guy or the alien and the girl, and I don't know. And I know 5 days is 5 days, and you're not gonna fall head over heels for someone and get to know them, but like just their interactions, that there's just not a lot there. There's no
Why is she
chemistry.
hanging
It
out with this
just
dude?
it feels so forced, and it's like she keeps saying, I feel like you're putting me under a microscope, or you're from this planet. Like, if someone is giving you those vibes over and over and over again, all you're getting out of this is a trip, or is a quick trip to the library. I mean, I
Yeah.
just there's
yeah. Why is he
no
going to the library at night too? I mean, come on.
Well, we don't see those other interactions, so he may have been taking her to the library every day,
he
and
was
that's why she got
reading
because
her
Is
her
that what they call the
book
hill?
their
They call it the library.
interactions do not. I don't even know why she would have gone on the second date or whatever it is,
because
unless
he's a bad boy, I
the
suppose.
library
Oh yeah, bad
is
boy.
really lively.
Well, she talked about riding behind him on the motorcycle, so
Oh
grr.
shit, she's riding behind him. Oh my,
Yeah,
very progressive episode.
100%. Yeah.
He threw his book at her for sure.
Twilight Zone, black leather pegging.
This black
That would be a good 21st century version of
black
this.
leather black leather at the source.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let me look.
I mean,
Let me see your Dewey Decimal System.
yeah. Let me take a look at your microfiche.
I'm gonna stick my
Uh,
bookmark in your book.
Your
uh,
microfish is a macrofish.
hey, you know about our black leather jackets? Well, let me tell you about my black leather penis stretcher.
Oh my god.
Oh god. My penis stretcher jacket.
Oh god.
Anyways, I don't know. Nothing really happens, and then of course they kill population by poisoning water, and nothing's solved. Nothing's proven. It's just, hey, we did the thing we were set out to do. Nobody survives.
Yay.
End of
Yeah.
life.
I think it was supposed to be like oh my gosh, There wasn't like a happy. We all die in the whole world. And he wasn't
Yeah.
able to convince them.
Well,
Just,
this is how bored I
kind of
was.
lands like a wet rag.
Well, that's what I was gonna literally. It's like I was gonna say it's that time of the month is a wet rat. No,
Oh, good
anyways,
lord.
no, I can't remember because I was so bored by this episode. Did it come as a surprise that they poisoned the water, or is it just kind of insinuated early on? I mean, I
It's
really don't
insinuate
remember.
like it's insinuated, and like because he tries to the move or the episode ends with them taking away Scott, and they're saying that things are, and it's assumed things are going ahead basically.
Yeah,
Well, couldn't
tomorrow,
they have
like
done
the next
like
day, by the next morning. I think they'd already done it because he even the sheriff said something about it's already started, or somebody said
Yeah,
that.
by
what
tomorrow
the
morning
sheriff's
it was
near?
gonna be
Yeah,
the deputy guy.
by tomorrow morning it was going to be done.
Yeah,
Like no going back.
like there
Well, I mean, the
wasn't a.
sheriff is near, so
And the thing is, where like the Scott when he was grabbing the lady and taking her with him, or wanted to her with him, where would they have gone? Like the entire
I don't
world was essentially
know.
going to be poisoned at that
Couldn't
point.
they have been
Take you out in the
like?
middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Couldn't she have like convinced the three black leather jacket guys like don't do this, and then they run after the sheriff who is or the deputy who is just he's like, hey, I took care of it, and like no, and
the thing is,
Dan's
even if
like,
they didn't, even
No.
if they, it was like Halloween 3.
Well, that's
You
the
know,
thing.
well,
A lot of times when we have episodes like this, excuse me, that are not executed well, and like say the ending is the problem. Like I feel like with this one, a good ending could have salvaged this episode. Like a good, oh
yeah,
wow, ending could have, like many great endings in Twilight Zone. Sometimes a great ending will take a episode and elevate it. I'm not saying it would have been number one, but a really wow ending could have made this viewing better. It would have made the view everything else that came before it seem worth it to get there. And
yeah,
I'm sitting here, and a lot of the times when we have these discussions just like this about bad execution, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that, I would have liked this. I really don't know what the fuck they should have done here. Because it's kind of like, while I get what they were going for, I don't really know if I would have gone for that. I mean, I appreciate them trying to juxtapose things and like be like, oh yeah, you expect it to be a happy ending, and bam, it's not. But it was more like you expect it to be a happy ending, and
yeah,
it's not. And you're like, okay, well, I didn't really care. And a lot of that might be because you didn't really care the majority of the time. So when it got to the part to where it was supposed to be emotionally impactful, you're like, okay, everybody's gonna die. I'm based on what I've seen in this episode, I'm okay with that. They can all go. So I mean, yeah. I don't know. This is a situation where I'm like, I have no idea what should have happened.
and
Make
you're
a
right
different
though. It
episode.
is. I was thinking about that too. Like the only thing that I could think of, and it wouldn't even change the overall outcome, but when they take their not the mid break, but kind of that later half break, like they show the deputy kind of twirling the little insignia for the aliens, and it's like if they would have had that where they bring the sheriff over and it turns out then and there that he's shows off the alien or the Scott sees it on his side or whatever, that
Yeah.
would have been something. That wouldn't have resurrected or fixed the episode, but that would have been something.
I guess if I just had to stick with the basic outcome of this episode and how it was, like you said, all the stuff with the all-seeing eye, I would have taken most of that out, and I would have allocated that time to their relationship so that you could like maybe over time see him go from less robotic to more humanized, even though he's not human. And then you sympathize with them and you understand why he feels this way, and maybe show them get away, show them, I don't know, wherever they're going, the woods, whatever. They make it. They get away and they think, oh, everything's okay. Or maybe they do something to disrupt things. And he's like, I took this thing that they were going to use. I don't know. We think that there is the opportunity for a happy ending in some shape, form, or fashion. And then that's when the sheriff shows up out of nowhere, like right there at the very end. And he's like, oh, you don't know? It's already done. You've been off gallivanting around all this time. We went ahead and did it. It's too late. Very
Yeah.
Watchmen. How
Mm.
the bomb went off 30 minutes ago. It's too late.
So,
And
so what you're
then
saying is they
it
should
just
have had
sinks
a.
in.
So what you're saying is they should have had an octopus in this
A
episode.
giant squid, I dare you.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, like that would have been a bit more impactful of like, you think that maybe they're making some headway and they're getting, or at least they're getting away or something. Maybe they've
And like
stopped it
one person, yeah, the one person that they should have like talked to first, and
yeah, and or
yeah,
somebody comes up and then they're like, "Oh no, it's already done. It's too late." And then it's kind of like, "Oh no," and then they just take him away or something like that. It still
oh
wouldn't have been great, but it
no.
would have been that would have been more impactful, especially had they spent some more time on their relationship. Because we just hear about, yeah, they've been together for 5 days. When were you going to show us this?
Mm.
They didn't show.
Right.
And, that works sometimes, but a lot of the times you hear people say, show, don't tell.
And
Exactly.
this is an extreme version of that too, because A, that happens, and B, we have the whole exposition with the giant eye that takes up probably a good 4 minutes of the runtime.
And that could
Well,
have
I
been
mean,
spent on their relationship.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, or they could have Catwoman on a roller coaster. I mean, they had something, people, something, anything. I mean, you could add Big Dong in there. I don't know. Throw something into the mix, but not this, not like this, not like
Yeah.
this. Anyways, so anybody else have anything else to say? Might miss anything? I've quoted like 3 movies tonight that nobody recognizes, so we'll
Not
just
this. Not like this.
no, nobody got my Blazing Saddles reference either. I see how it is.
I'm sorry.
You should be sorry. Somebody
Where
who
all the
likes
white women at?
no. The sheriff's what? The sheriff's near. Anyways, um, oh man, what would have been funny if Mel Brooks had written this episode? At least it would have been
If
good.
Mel Brooks had written it,
Yeah.
yeah, back then, if he wrote it nowadays, it would have sucked. I don't know. Did
Oh
he write that new History of the World too, or did he
no,
just put
I
his
don't
name
think he
on it?
did.
I think he was more like executive, like quote executive producer.
He's like
He ran
Morty,
Marvel at the
Morty.
end the way that Stan Lee ran Marvel at the end.
He said merchandising.
Yeah.
That's all he
Wait,
cares about,
that
the
show was
merchandising.
fucking terrible. I
He's
know
like
we're
he's
talking
like
about something
100
else.
years old now. You think he give a fuck? No. He's like, do whatever you want. He's
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 like,
John Carpenter of
I
comedy.
was gonna say he's like John Carpenter.
Except
Can we
I don't
make
know
a
if he smokes
sequel?
weed and plays video games.
Give me money. That's what John Carpenter said he does. He's like, they come up to me and say, everybody's always like, we want to make a remake or a sequel of one of your properties. He's like, I don't care. I just hold out my hand. It's like, they can screw their career. The movie I made still exists.
Exactly. Except for the ward. He doesn't want to admit to that existing. So
Nope.
anyways. Anything else you guys want to talk about with this episode? Anything? Hold your peace now.
I mean, I could tell you I mean, it's more so down the way, but I could tell you where it fell with Paste and IMDb.
Oh,
Just
please
go
do.
for it. Go. Do it.
Pray
Do it.
tell.
Black Leather Jackets on Paste was at 150.
Ooh.
Jezebel was at 151, so we got an Earl Hamner back to back.
Oh yeah. Back to back.
Running a
Yep.
train
it.
on that Hamner.
Absolutely. And
He's
for
using his
149
junior for it.
Junior.
149 was Queen of the Nile, which we haven't hit yet. And on Twilight, it was hang on here. Come on. 143. A thing about machines was at 142, and 4 o'clock was at 144.
Interesting.
company.
Interesting.
Good
All
company.
right. So there's that. Black leather
Oh,
jackets.
that's interesting. The Showdown with Rance McGrew was at 148.
Worse than this?
Yeah.
Worse than this nonsense?
Yeah.
I don't think so, woman. I
Yeah.
don't think so, IMDb
Yeah.
or Pace Magazine, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
like Showdown with Rance McGrew. I'm sorry.
I did too.
I won't lie. Showdown with Rance Penis Stretcher. Penis Stretcher with Rance McGrew. I don't know. Jacob likes this episode. He's like, yeah.
I don't
Rance
like this
McGrew.
episode. I think Rance McGrew is better than this episode. But
Well, I would hope so. I mean,
admittedly, I never thought super highly of Showdown with Rance McGrew. That's why every time we talk about it and we get into that area, I'm like, yeah, this is better than that.
Well, I mean, where is Showdown with Rance McGrew even at? I don't even know where it's located.
It's too high. I don't know.
but is it as bad as Perchance to Dream?
No, it's an atrocity as far as where it landed.
Oh,
There's no
God.
place being that high.
Yeah. Oh, 57 for Showdown with Rance McGrew. I agree with that. Anyways, okay. So, anything else you guys want to talk about with Black Leather Jackets? Anything? Hold your peace. Hold your penis.
Oh,
Crackers.
the same set, the same neighborhood set was used on the Monsters Do on Maple Street.
All right. So it's number three. Number three. Or wait, no, no. I'm sorry. Number two. Number two.
Number two? Okay.
Yeah. Or number one. We can make it number one. Anyways, anybody else have anything
Nope.
else?
Nope, I think we're good.
All right. Jacob, closing narration.
Oh,
Do it.
yes.
Do it.
I have
Go
that
to
ready.
it.
Ready to go.
As per usual.
Ready?
You are
Oh,
on top of
yes,
things.
I've studied it
In places
in
and-
detail.
Yep.
Closing narration. Go. Portrait of an American family on the eve of invasion from outer space. Of course, we know it's merely fiction, and yet, think twice when you drink your next glass of water. Find out if it's from your local reservoir, or possibly it came direct to you from the Twilight Zone.
Okay,
You
so
should call
real
it-
quick, if I had just read this with no indication of what the actual episode was, I would have assumed that it would have been something related to like water. Like that would have been the entire episode. How did that end piece fit with the episode? Like
They're poisoning the water.
I know, but like there's so much emphasis put on that. And there's like just the never mind. I'm just it would make more sense if they were like, well, watch out when the giant eye watches you. You know?
They should
I
have
don't
called
know.
this. They should have called this episode
You.
"Invasion of the Penis Snatchers."
They wouldn't have that issue.
Exactly. You wouldn't have to worry about the water.
Thank
It'd
God.
be yellow. It'd be yellow
Oh, dude. Well, that is an issue.
and white and milky.
Thanks for that image.
Jacob looks like he's seen something that has made him excited, like God or something like that. Has he
Well, I
seen
mean,
the
you were
God
talking about white and creamy substances in the water, so.
has he been sniffing cats' anuses that pee on him and make him think he's in heavy metal?
What?
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 What the hell are you
Anyways,
What?
so with that said, let's get into the last segment of the podcast.
Dear God.
Hey, if you know that reference, you know that reference. Anyways,
I don't know that reference.
So let's get into the last segment of the podcast, which is the Twilight Zone ranking list, the greatest ranking list ever known by penis stretchers. I'm
Huh.
gonna say this is 135.
Oh, we're going that high?
Okay, 137 or 138. I'll go there. I was saying,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking out of one. I'm sorry. I'm thinking out of 156.
Jacob,
not-
she had me excited there
not
for a second. I was like, oh my God, we're doing it. We're putting it at the bottom. Triv. I was like, what are you doing to my? You're making me the happiest guy ever. 4 minutes before I turn 42, you know. Woo!
We're doing it.
Oh my God.
We're getting under the sheets and we're putting it there.
No.
No, what do you think I said?
No, I was thinking like my brain was still on like the Pace magazine one where we're looking at 156. I was
Oh.
taking it out of 156, not 136 or 138.
Triv, we're not that far yet.
I know.
We haven't come that far yet.
I'm a fucking idiot. You know this.
Oh yeah, I know it's late. No, no, I was saying like, are we gonna put it above Static? Where would you guys put it? Honestly, like I would put it like,
Well-
if I'm being generous, I would put it at like 135. But I'm just being generous. Otherwise, I put it at the bottom because this really is just nothing to me. That's saying something because I get pissed off when when these episodes piss me off. So
Yeah.
this is just not. I don't really give a shit.
Where's the list?
Just remember, look at the right list when you go to Twitter.
Oh, it's Twitter. It's under our.
Remember, look at the bottom of our feed there, Jacob.
Oh,
No, it's-
Aim for the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the feed.
Aim for the
To know
bottom.
where
That's
the.
That's long.
That's what she said.
So I mean, I could only send. I should have just sent you the last 10 episodes on the bottom of the list. I don't know. What are we looking at? I mean, this episode legitimately
Honestly,
is worse than The Gift. It's worse than 4 o'clock. It's worse than The Jungle. You might have something to say with Static and Trouble Templeton, but
Which one was
even
Static? Was
Static,
that one of the VHS episodes
yeah, it was the last one. It was the one when we came back after like a 6 month hiatus, where the old man is like
with the
pissed off
radio?
at the young kid. Yeah,
Right.
and I mean that episode's real bad, but
What area
convince
are
me
we?
to not put it at the bottom. I don't know where do you guys want to put it.
I'm indifferent, honestly. I'm okay putting it all the way
Sure,
at the
that doesn't
bottom.
help things.
I'm gonna start at
Fine.
120 and work my way down and see. Let me see here. Let me get in the right mindset here. Okay.
Now, if you do that, Jacob, you have to. If you do that, you have to talk like that. You have to like almost like your balls have gone back up into your fucking. Okay, guys.
120. Okay. Cavender is coming. Ooh, somebody's coming.
Okay, Paul Lind.
Dust. A thing about machines.
You gotta do it like what's his face
Thing.
Rip Taylor.
The guy with the confetti?
Yes, you look like you're doing a Conan O'Brien sketch. I don't know what's happening, but
It could
I'm all
also
about
be
it.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Ooh.
Okay, all right, we're getting serious now. Where are we putting this shit?
114 is a piano in
House?
You guys don't get to do that at the very end of the episode, by the way.
Oh, yes, we do.
You guys have blown your load.
That's what she said. Dude, your eyes are dead. You know that?
That was okay.
Ah!
What is happening? All right, seriously, like
Th-
where are we putting this thing?
This is Jake. Sorry. Anyway. I'm okay putting it at the very bottom.
I'm not.
All right then. Plead your case.
I don't think it's as bad as Trouble with Templeton.
That's fine. It's as
Static,
bad as Static,
quite
though.
honestly, Static and this are on the same level. That they're just kind of what the fuck? There's nothing. The jungle. Man, I hate saying the jungle's better than anything.
Dude, at least we got guy randomly dies in car. I mean,
Okay,
at least
so,
that's something.
Here's my here's where I'm getting stumped. Is the jungle and Static is very much there Static from what I remember was just like mind-numbingly boring and just nothing. I was like, what the fuck was that? Kind of like this. The jungle had a good idea, well, could have had good idea, but was like god awfully executed. Like it acted.
But at least we had fun talking about it. I didn't have any fun talking about this episode.
I didn't have fun watching it. We're talking about about watching it. My watching experience of the jungle was like, this is awful. And it was like, I don't think you guys remember. The jungle was bad. Like
it was bad, but this is like this almost feels more insulting. Like jungle's like no, the jungle is bad. Like it's horrendous. It physically made me angry. But this episode makes me angrier because it's just literally it feels like it insults my intelligence of what a movie or TV show should be. Because it just doesn't do anything.
And bad.
Like at least the jungle was going for something. Like this doesn't go for anything. It legitimately doesn't go for anything.
I mean, it was. They just didn't. They came nowhere near the mark.
But like I mean, I'm not like this is like we're arguing about like which episode is like the least angry episode that you watch, and this well, for me, that's what it ends up becoming. Like it's just like
jungle was definitely for me, and I'm just talking to me. The jungle made me more angry. I can't really say I've gotten angry, but the jungle made me more irritated. Like I was just like, that was boring and a waste of my time, and it was just bad. This was boring and a waste of my time, and yes, that's bad, but it wasn't bad on top of that. It was just kind of like, this is a waste of fucking time. The jungle was that, and it was bad, and it was just like incomprehensible in some parts. Like the guy dying, I mean, he's like, "Oh, you're dead. Let me get out of the taxi now." Like it was just bad. That's why I think the jungle is worse. 4:00 wasn't that the one with the little man, the little guy?
No, that was the one where the guy is like calling.
Yeah, it's the one where he.
But he gets turned little in the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's saying aliens are coming or some shit like that, and or something.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Something happened. It has like really annoying, but at least that's like something. At least that's
I would
something, I guess.
I
Like
would
the
be
gift, at least a
willing
gift as Jesus, gift giving Jesus or whatever. But
I would be willing to put this under 4 o'clock and above the jungle. If it was all my decision, I would go with that. I'd be fine with that. I mean 4 o'clock was I know it like pissed you guys off.
Oh, it's a terrible episode.
It like
It's like
made you
Hitler
mad.
levels of stupid.
Like I was just like, I
but
mean, it wasn't good, but I ain't mad about it. I'm just like, whatever.
it's
It
funny because
sucked.
4 o'clock is like 4 o'clock is like piss you off levels of stupid, and then you get to like black leather jackets, which is piss you off levels of like of just like insulting your intelligence. Then the jungle's just like,
Well, the gift
what the
too.
fuck was that? What the hell
The
was
gift
that?
The gift, static, and black leather jackets, I feel like are on the same level. They're like just boring. Like the bad thing they do, which is bad. All of these episodes are boring, by the way, but they're just boring, dull, and have no point. No point whatsoever.
Oh, they have a point. They have a
Well, they
point to
have no
stay at the
point that is
bottom of the
communicated
list.
to us, the viewer, very well.
Yeah,
And
They have a
like,
point of these nuts.
yeah,
yeah.
they balls. They suck. But I will just say that like the jungle and the trouble with Templeton, 4 o'clock was just kind of like it just wasn't good. I didn't like it either, but it didn't like bother me and as they say, irk my soul. The jungle and trouble with Templeton did. They like actively made me
I,
slightly angry.
I think we've got to a point that unless Bewitching Pool really goes Trouble with Templeton, I don't think we found a worse episode of the series than Trouble with Templeton at this point.
That episode, it
I mean,
irritates me more than the cat lady episode.
and that's saying a lot too, because
I've
you
always said I don't think that whatever the hell that thing's for Chance to
Spell?
Dream should be at the
Oh.
bottom. I just don't think it should be anywhere near as high as it is. But all that aside, that's not what we're talking about here. I think the gift in the jungle. I think 4 o'clock should be under the jungle, and this would if that were the case, I would say, hey, I think this should be right in there with the gift and the jungle. I mean, the gift and static. I think static should be above 4 o'clock, and then I would say this should be right there at that 133 area. But as it stands, I would be willing to put it in that 33, 34 range. That's me. But hey, it's not
I
just
can't
me.
put this above 4 o'clock. Like 4 o'clock pissed me off, but at least it
Yeah.
left me feeling something.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it could go at 34. Wait, no, under
30,
35. It could
35.
go to 35.
Right.
That's what I meant. Under 4 o'clock. I'd be
Well,
okay with it going under 4 o'clock. Whatever.
I
4
mean,
o'clock
to
was
be
more,
fair,
I don't know. It was neat the little effect in the end.
I've already put it at
Awesome.
135, so I'm just gonna leave it there.
Okay.
And I feel like no, I'm kidding. I think I think like in the end we can put it there, and it just shows you, bad episode's gonna be a bad episode, and
I
we could talk
implore you
about.
guys to go back and rewatch The Trouble with Templeton.
See, now
It's
I don't
so
think
bad.
I
I
implore
didn't.
you to go be back and rewatch Perchance to Dream, sir.
See, I wasn't affected by Templeton as much as you guys were. Like I would. It's in no way, shape, or form a good episode. But I would rather do like the ones that are above that would be the ones I would
Mm.
put at the very bottom before that. But I can roll with the fact that with Templeton wasn't good.
The Jungle
No, the
plays
jungle's terrible.
it puts forth a mighty good it gives it the college try to be in last place. I'll say that. Like if we came back after watching all of these and said, okay, top 10, bottom 10, do we
Go.
want to switch any of those around? Like leave everything else alone. If we said, all right, here's our bottom 10, are there any that we want to drop or raise within that 10 range? I would have a compelling argument for the jungle going all the way to the fucking bottom at this point. But Trouble with Templeton is real bad. But the jungle, Jesus Christ. Anyway. And static
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
boring. I can
All
never
right.
remember what static is.
Until I
Because
say
it's
old
always-
man yelling at kid in front of a radio. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always gonna be the episode that we came back after like 2.5 months of not doing a podcast. So that's always the episode I remember from that when I moved
we
for my
came
40th
back
time.
on a doozy. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right. With that said, that'll do it. So new number 135 is Black Leather Jackets. Number one, Eye of the Beholder. Probably not going to change. Number 138, Trouble in Templeton. Probably not going to change unless we think the Bewitching Pool should be at number 156 or whatever.
And
Next week,
114 is a piano in.
The house.
I apologize. I didn't mean to catch you on smoke rings there, man.
you lost your chance to do it in the like whatever weird kind of I don't know thing you were doing it in. So, anyways,
Oh,
so
A piano in.
the house. The house.
Let's do this properly. Number 114 is a piano in.
The house.
Jesus Christ. All right, so anyways, Jesus Christ. All right, let me get this over with. So anyways, next episode is we're going back to episode 9 if you are on what was that, Paramount Plus. This is the episode that got pushed back because of the Kennedy assassination. That, of course, is season 5, episode 19, called Night Call, directed by Jacques Tourneur, written by Richard Matheson, stars Gladys Cooper, Noah Marlowe, and Martine Bartlett. So we'll look forward to that. All right, we're heading out. Triv, Jacob, always fun as always. Triv, content, where is it located?
Spooky month. Check out things that are sort of spooky-esque. I'm doing Arsenic and Old Lace, and then Dead Alive / Brain Dead. So that's if I can pull them out of my ass. We'll see how much I can get done in the next week.
Well, you're not wearing pants, so it shouldn't be very hard.
You help
so
with
there
that?
you go. Yeah.
With the pants?
Anyway.
Pulling things out of an ass.
Yeah.
Not from you.
So per man formerly known as Jacob, where's your content at?
Whoa.
Fucking asshole. The
Go ahead,
man
Tom.
formerly known as Jacob came back as Jacob. Anyways.
Yeah, I got some content on YouTube. Richard JXY and Jacob Enders reviews. You can see some stuff. There'll be more eventually. I've actually been thinking about some new types of videos I might put on there around my work.
Cool.
I think it'd be
At
fun.
his work. Why
Yeah.
he works.
Maybe. I don't know.
You,
I don't have a lot of
are you
time
gonna
right
do
now.
those? You should do those videos where they just put a GoPro camera on themselves and you just film yourself working. You garner so many views by that way. I'm telling you what, man.
Would I?
Yeah,
I
dude.
am
There's a guy that
shameless.
works.
I'll
There's a guy that runs a McDonald's, and there's a guy who runs a hot dog stand. They make millions of views. So I do it, man. If you can get away with it,
We have
I
a
go for
GoPro
it.
at work.
There you go.
I could
I'm
just
sure you
take
do.
it and use it.
You
Until I
need
can
one of
pay
those
for it.
you need one of those gigantic mirrorless cameras, like a red camera. Just attach that to yourself, like on a
Like a
gimbal or something like that.
Nice.
You just get up
Also-
people's faces. You just get up on people's faces.
Welcome.
Hey, you want to buy a Funko Pop?
Have like the whole get up. Like
Yeah, you do like you
chest
do like Blockbuster. Yeah. What do you think of that movie? Anyways,
What are you buying?
So for myself, I have content. I'm trying. It's hard. I've been dealing with some stuff at the moment. It's been a long week, been a long few weeks. Yeah. So there you go. Podcast, maybe some other stuff. We'll see what happens. So we'll look forward to the next week. We'll see you guys soon. Do things, be well, drink places, look for Triv's pants.
What?
I don't know. Just be good. So for myself, Triv and Jacob, we'll see you guys next time in the Twilight Zone. Peace out, motherfuckers. Anyways, oh my god. Okay, so I have nothing.